Hi, Carla. Welcome to the NTM Growth Marketing Podcast. Welcome back to work. And I'm honored to be speaking with you today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Andrew.
Let's dive in and hear a little bit more about your company and what is your role at the organization.
All right. I work for an organization called Resolve Tech Solutions. They are in IT solutions and services, focusing mostly in North America with three lines of businesses that include SAP, AI digital transformation, and cloud
Hmm.
services. My role at the organization is Senior Vice President of Marketing, and I've been with the company just under 2 years. I was selected to start the marketing function, which I have done at two other tech companies previously. So it's been a really exciting journey so far, and I'm excited to share some insights with you that I've learned along the way.
So you are the first marketing hire at the company.
Yes, and it's my third time a tech-focused company has decided they needed to start the marketing function and has brought me in.
I love
That's
that
my
you're.
niche.
I love that, and I think that transitions really nicely into the first question I was going to ask you, which is around marketing strategies. So you're at an interesting point where you were literally developing the first marketing plan, or maybe they had an intern develop it, back a few years ago, but this is a true first marketing plan that was created and implemented. And when you're developing a marketing plan from ground zero, which you said is your niche, what are you finding to be some successful strategies when you deploy it?
So, brand strategy is one of the first things I always look at.
Mhm.
Oftentimes, you'll get into a company that's established. I'd say like small to mid-size. RTS is definitely mid-size. It has a large revenue stream, large client base. It was definitely already established. So
Mhm.
you get in there and you say, okay, well, what is your brand? Sometimes you get different answers, especially if there's been mergers and acquisitions along the way.
Mhm.
Or sometimes you start talking to people in the marketplace like, have you heard of this company, especially when I'm interviewing or even after I start, and they've heard things, but the answers you're getting from the public are a little bit different from what you're getting internally.
Mhm.
So a strategic exercise I always do is a brand survey. You take your internal people, your stakeholders, your leaders, your team members from individual contributors up, and then you also survey the public, like prospects, people that have heard of your company or interacted in the past, and your clients, and say, if someone asked what your company does, what would they say? If you had to personify this company as a famous person, who would it be and why? You ask really in-depth questions because your brand is not what you want it to be or what your CEO says it is. It's what other people say you are. And if there's not alignment there, or if you're trying to go through a shift in lines of business or what you want your company to be, then you're really going to have to do some things marketing wise to change that
Mhm.
perception. And that's one thing I had to do coming into Resolve Tech Solutions. When they were started, they were more of a staffing firm than a solutioning firm, and they wanted to be known. As they grew, they were rolling out these very robust end-to-end solutions for SAP. They had started an AI division, but no one knew about it. They were
Mhm.
really an untold story. So came in, there was a lot of, oh, well, they help us with our staffing needs. And we've changed that in the past 2 years to really reflect on what the company has been doing. So there was a misalignment, and that is not there anymore. And the company's brand is aligned now internally and with the marketplace. And it's been a really successful activity. I've had to do this before as well, but using a multi-channel approach and showcasing what you want the brand to be to align that with the public is something I think
Mhm.
every company should not only do at the beginning, but do every few years that you have a
Mhm.
major shift in overall company strategy.
So I don't want to put words into your mouth, but I am imagining this could have been some dialogues you might have had with some members of the C-suite asking, why are we doing this? When is marketing going to make us more money, bring in new clients? What advice do you have in for other marketing executives of how to navigate these conversations of really making sure these fundamentals in marketing are secure at the onset so the actual marketing plan will work?
Okay, so let me make sure I understand your question, like tying marketing to the revenue stream.
Correct. Correct.
Okay, so you need to do brand building activities. You need to build an audience, right? And that's what the brand alignment is. I think every marketer should be able to sell. Every marketer
Mhm.
needs to be able to story tell. If you want to make money in marketing, you have to be tied to the revenue stream and not seen as a cost center. So if
Mhm.
all you're doing are these brand building exercises, which you have to do, you have to build an audience, you have to have that visibility, you have to have that thought leadership, then you're not going to be seen as a successful function. So you need to not only build that brand presence, but do activities where you're bringing in leads and not just bringing them in, because then your sales team will not like you. They'll say, oh, whatever, these leads are junk. You have to nurture them too. So you have to have a growth marketing function that also addresses that nurturing aspect. You can do a webinar and get 100 people to sign up, and that's great, and say, oh, look at all these leads. But if you're not nurturing them post webinar, especially in a complex sales cycle like B2B tech solutions, you're not going to be achieving the results you want. So you not only have to build the audience, you have to generate the leads, and you have to nurture the leads. And if you're not doing all three of those things, you're going to fall short at one or two aspects of what you're trying to achieve.
If you were going to brag on yourself for a second, what have you done that's innovative in your marketing campaign?
Um, I really like, so similar to me being on this podcast, I think podcasts are a great way of getting your thought leadership and your brand out there. We
Mhm.
started a podcast, and when I said, hey, we're going to release weekly episodes, I had several people look at me like, that's too advantageous. You are crazy. But being a solutions and consulting agency, you have to put your people out there. Basically, you're
Mhm.
selling people, right? You're selling your ideas, you're selling your expertise, you're selling your knowledge. So if you're not doing that, you're going to hold back. And we are about to finish season 2 and then move on to season 3. But I think we've released like 60 episodes so far. So it
That's
can be
great.
done. And that's part of that brand awareness, but it also has turned into a little bit of lead generation because people will say, hey, I saw your podcast or I've been following it. And I really like YouTube as a podcast platform. Most people go straight to like Spotify. I think it's great you're doing video, Andrew. I think you need to do video.
Mhm.
YouTube has the better recommendation engine too. You're going to reach the right audience if you use certain mechanisms on how to title your podcast and you're doing that market research about what people care about, their fear, dreams, desires, and goals of your target market. And then once you start bringing in leads from that, you can do some lead gen through targeted ads, visibility ads on LinkedIn when you take the small pieces like, hey, this is what this is about. This is what you'll learn from it. So I think there's a lot
Mhm.
of cool things you can do with podcasting and video content. And then you also have your lead generation events. You need to be at the right events. I think anyone that goes to events needs to understand marketing, sales, and human psychology. I always tell people on my team, if you go to an event and you don't have the next meeting set up, you're probably not going to get another meeting.
Mhm.
Set it up right then and there. Human psychology tells us people are less likely to say no to you face to face, then it's a lot easier to ignore an email or a cold call, right?
Right.
So just it's a multi-channel approach. Marketing's not a one size fits all, but there's certain things you can take across industries that do work and certain tactics and strategies that do work, but just multi-channel, doing those three things, brand awareness, lead gen, lead nurturing. If you're missing one of those, won't be successful. And if you have them, you can bring in over $1 million in profit year one. You can bring in
Mhm.
$8 million in revenue year one. Numbers when it comes to predictable revenue. I read a book, I believe it's Aaron Ross who wrote it years ago, early in my career, about 15 years ago. A leader of mine recommended it to me. And if you can tie marketing and sales together, then you're just going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Do you have a personal favorite podcast at the moment?
Um, from a marketing standpoint, I do listen, I believe it's Michael Stelzner. I listen to a social media marketing podcast. It's not just social media marketing, but I really like his podcast. I get good tidbits of information. That's one that I listen to regularly, but there's different ones that aside, I mean, I like Joe Rogan, who doesn't? I listen to his podcast, but that's more for my own
Right, right.
curiosities. But sometimes he has some good information when it comes to tech on there as well. So when I try to listen to AI podcasts, just because that is one of our lines of business,
Mhm.
seeing what's happening with AI in the marketplace for enterprises. And also there's a lot of uses for AI in marketing as well.
How has AI transformed your marketing efforts?
Oh, it makes you a force multiplier. I mean, writing drafts, you don't have to use your decision-making capabilities on drafting a blog or a social media post. If you have a secure environment where you can upload your company information, it's a force multiplier. It gives it to you in seconds, and it's more well written than probably what I could have done if I sat there for 2 hours, right? It helps you with the market research. It just makes things so much faster, and you're able to churn out, if you know how to use it well and use it with good governance, so you're not putting any of your company's proprietary information out there, then it's just going to make you a force multiplier. You're going to be able to churn out so much more content. You're going to be able to do things like my graphic designers use them, my social media team uses it. Even you can put your analytics, if you have a secure internal environment, you can put analytics in there without having to use a Power BI, and it will start analyzing like email opens and the personas of people, and it gives you some pretty robust information. I love generative AI. I really love it. It's really changing the face of marketing. People say it's going to take marketers' jobs. Well, maybe, but it's not going to take the jobs of people that know how to use it. I think not using AI, you're more likely to fall behind than by using it.
Is there a LLM you enjoy using the most?
I like ChatGPT. I have the paid version, but we also have developed some proprietary ones too. So, but those are a combination of different LLMs from some of the different major technology providers as well, but in a more secure environment.
So aside from the LLMs like ChatGPT, Gemini, we could list out a bunch of those. Are there any other standalone AI software tools that you see yourself using frequently, or LLMs the main way you've been using it?
Um, a lot like ChatGPT, if you would have asked me a year ago, it was not my favorite. I was liking the answers from Gemini and even Anthropic, depending on what you needed to do, but they have increased OpenAI, ChatGPT's platform quite a bit. Graphic design, they use it, right? So Adobe Sensei, I think that's how you pronounce it. I might be pronouncing that wrong because I'm not a graphic designer, but I know they use it. I
It's
know
good
our
enough.
social media team uses Canva. I know there's AI tools in there. And I really encourage my team, anytime there's AI embedded into one of the tools we're using, then utilize it. See what kind of analytics you can pull. I do pull analytics and put it into a proprietary AI engine, but as soon as email marketing platforms start adding the type of AI functionality that can really help segment into their platforms, I think that's going to be fantastic too. And I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing it in the platforms we use in the future.
So Carla, to wrap this up, can you share best ways to follow up with you and your organization?
Absolutely. So Resolve Tech Solutions, our website's resolvetech.com. We also have our AI division, which I think is really cool and exciting, called Juno Labs, and that's junolabs.ai. On LinkedIn, I believe my handle is Carla M. Hartman. Feel free to connect with me, message me. I love talking marketing. I'm really passionate about it. And that's why I thank you, Andrew, for having me. I hope I didn't talk too much, but I
No,
really
this is
appreciate
perfect. And I
it.
really love the emphasis you made on the connection of marketing and sales.
You need to have it, or you're going to be a cost center, not a revenue stream. And if you're a revenue stream, you're just a more powerful marketer in what I think is a more powerful marketer.
And that is a perfect mic drop to end. So, Carla, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Before we jump into our next guest, we want to take a moment to tell you about our marketing mastermind cohort, No Typical Marketers. If you are a marketing executive looking to connect with like-minded professionals, this is the space for you. It's more than just a Discord group. It's your exclusive ticket to monthly roundtable meetings where we have group discussions about advanced marketing strategies, share insights, and solve real world challenges like implementing AI agents into your marketing. Membership is exclusive and by application only. If you're ready to take your marketing game to the next level, apply now using the link in the description below. We can't wait to see you there. Now, back to the episode. Hi, Sharon. Welcome to the NTM Growth Marketing Podcast. I am excited to be speaking with you today.
Hey, Andrew. Happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Well, I'm honored to be speaking with you today. I can already tell through some of our prior debriefs just how much of a resilient marketer you are. That's kind of how I would define your personality through our debriefs. But to start us off today, tell us a little bit about the company you work for. What is your role at the company, and what does the day in the life of Sharon look like?
Thanks. I like to think about myself as a resilient. I'm an Israeli. I'm a CMO of a company called AI21. We've been in the market since 2017. We are one of the few who's actually developing and training foundation model. We're currently the biggest company in Israel, and I think probably one out of the 10 big foundation models in the world. I run the marketing team, which is specialized or focused on user acquisition and also brand in this, super tight competitive market. And I really enjoy what I'm doing. This is my first AI adventure. Prior to that, I was a CMO in a cyber company, and before that, a fintech company. I go with the trends.
Mhm.
But I think what I'm really good at is finding the right people to work with me, or to work to build the right teams, I guess.
So you've always done marketing in the tech world, or CMOs have always been CMO at tech-oriented businesses?
Yeah. I've been in the tech world, in the digital world for probably 20 years, and I think that I probably already getting used to the fact that I'm the non-technical executive in the room. But I have the ability, I think I've gained it along the years, the ability to at least sound smart and cope with the conversation. I mean, doing marketing for deep tech companies is always an issue. There's always the challenge of how you market something to very advanced and sophisticated audience.
Mhm.
How do you cope with the conversation around the management table? With the super technical people. So I enjoy it very much, and I learn. I learned in every chapter of my life, when of my career, when I move from vertical to vertical. I think it's probably taking me a couple of long months to learn, but I
Mhm.
really like that.
I just started to reread a book. I don't know if it's popular in Israel, actually. It's called
Mhm.
Crossing the Chasm by Jeffrey Moore.
Of course, of
Okay.
course.
So I love that book. It was one of my first introductions to marketing for high-tech businesses
Mhm.
back in college 15 years ago. So I started to
Mhm.
reread it. Still love it. He actually has a new edition out in which he's
Yeah,
referencing like Facebook, which is pretty cool.
yeah, yeah. I actually stopped reading. I think probably like a year ago. I'm only listening to podcasts and
Oh
to.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's and I love reading. I don't know. Do you read? Do you find time to read like a real
S-
book, paper?
So interesting difference for me. So I love podcasts. The conversational tone when they're just, going back and forth with some banter about varying topics, but
Mhm.
it's really hard for me to listen to
When
audiobooks.
it's monotone, yeah.
So I was actually trying to listen to Crossing the Chasm by Jeffrey Moore,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
I have to pay so close attention, and I'm usually listening to podcasts while I'm driving and multitasking. So I
Mhm.
realized I'd listen for 30 minutes and go, I don't remember anything I just listened to.
Uh,
So I just bought it so
yeah,
I could read it. I learn better with books, with the actual like book in my hand.
yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
I listen to podcasts, and also now, with LLM, the fact that you could actually get a short version of every
right.
content, every publication in the world is I tend to do it as well.
Well, the reason I referenced Jeffrey Moore and Crossing the
Mhm.
Chasm is in the tech world, I find the marketing plans and the marketing strategies, especially if you're doing B2B oriented marketing, which I'm assuming has been a lot of your background.
Mhm.
Can you share some marketing strategies that you're deploying that you're seeing working in the 2020, now 2025 market?
Mhm. Yeah, so I think in marketing, it's always important to keep the balance between being very creative and out of the box, then being super executional, and also constantly thinking about the target audience, the ICP, the people that you've talked to. Some of the stuff that I've discovered that actually work very well for me is use the smart brains in the company as a marketeer, as a addition to the marketing team when it comes to write content, when it comes to generate video, and doing real-time marketing and conversational marketing. I think even like the most talented and sophisticated marketeer would never speak the same as this, algo person or developer or the CISO or the hacker. So I'm building this internal mechanism to get the employees to be more active in our marketing techniques, in content, but also in the distribution, social networks. Events, meetups, etc. I think this is something that really working well for me, and it's also increasing employee engagement and allowing us to help them build their own personal branding, which in these days is very important. And another thing is that I'm really religious about, and is measurements. I'm coming from the area that says that everything can be measured and should be measured, and every department that I'm building is really data-led marketing group. So that's also allowing us to be very aware to the market and invest in the right places and leverage success and actually kill tests in the right time. So I think probably one of my first hiring would normally be an analyst, like a marketing analyst or a BI person that will help me build it in the right way. And I think this is also something that really important for the culture of the company, and like to build managements that are not only taking decision by hunch, but actually open every management meeting with dashboards and numbers and taking decision accordingly.
What is something innovative you're doing in your marketing that you're proud of?
I think I said it kind of like at the beginning, but I think I'm really good in finding the right people.
By people, do you mean your talent or your ICP, your team? You're
Yeah,
really good at team building.
building the right teams, and bringing the right people. And I try to keep room and to find area of them to work collaboratively and find time to do out of the box things. I think that marketing people and the people that I choose that are very creative and have a growth mindset and doing very interesting stuff on their personal life. If I find a way to bring that into the day-to-day marketing, that's where the sparks is happening. This is where the beautiful stuff are coming. And I can just give you an example from last week. One of my designer, he's a graffiti artist. So last week we actually went to his studio, the entire group. We are a big group, 30 something people. And we've played with stuff. We've played with stuff where we're looking for a new direction to our design, to our social presence. And we find really interesting stuff, within the new shapes and on the wall. Another thing that we're constantly doing here is we are testing and playing with some AI technologies, around music and visual and of course text. This is what the AI21 is. But I think around the playful, and the fact that people bringing themselves to to the project.
So it sounds like
That
you look for well-rounded professionals when you're hiring.
I think I'm looking for obviously experienced people, but also people that have the right mindset,
Mhm.
that doubting themselves, that are constantly in this search of what can we do differently, and people that enjoy work. I think that
Mhm.
this is what is really important to me, and you can see it. This is stuff that you could feel where when people are talking about their job, if they like to work,
Right.
if this is their passion, their thing.
So for another
I'm
marketing
very
executives,
romantic and naive, no? But
I was going to say for another marketing executives who is listening and they're looking to build their team, they're going to be hiring in 2025. What are some red flags you would advise another marketing executive to be on the lookout for when they're going through that process?
I think that the narrative that people are living accordingly, and the stories that they tell about their previous role,
Mm,
their sense of failure versus success. I think that this is a really important indicator of how they're gonna be in the position in the new role. And I would look for people that have courage and joy, and
mm,
the right energy. I think in startup, I mean, every day is like you have to treat every day with like so much of respect, because the impact that you have on the success of the company, especially in my group in the marketing
mhm.
department, is so big. So I would look for people with the right energy. I think everything else can be either taught or done by AI.
Right.
uh, but
Well, it's actually a nice transition to another question that's on my mind is can you share how AI has influenced your marketing efforts and then any specific tools within the AI world you see yourself going to a lot?
Yeah, definitely. I think I think AI, it is touching every area of our life, and it's only the beginning.
Mhm.
Um, for marketing departments, there are two major things that actually happen, and I think it's trends that we will continue to see. One is the hyper personalization. I mean, the fact that you could build a customer journey, super personalized, real time, very proactive, according to the persona that literally sits in front of you. And I think that we're starting to see AI driven demos, and a personal chatbot that asking you very personal questions, and even with the large chatbot that have strong memory and could actually adjust to your personal needs. I
Mhm.
think that this is something that is already taking into marketing department, and we will continue to see much more of that. And the second thing I think is more around creative design and ads. This world is under massive revolution. The world of creations is changing dramatically. You could have, in a click of a button, you can have 5 different videos and
Right.
200 ads to test, and endless amount of text ads. So I think this is also something that will dive into the day to day, but it means that we will need to be much more strict about the way that we measure things,
Mm.
because we will have endless um, options that we could look into. And we will need to continue to be, super tight on the data and on the analysis that we're doing. We
So
have a
share,
couple of stuff that we are playing with,
is there an
which
LLM you prefer the most, like Gemini, Bard, ChatGPT? What do you see yourself going to the most?
So obviously the LLM that I use the most is our own language model called Jamba, which is probably the one that is suitable for the enterprise need, because it is dive into a long context and also specialize in specific enterprise use cases. So this is normally my number one model, but also visual and effects and of course the creative part of O1 and ChatGPT 4 are the things that we are testing. We don't have a lot of AI in production currently, but a lot of tests and play and things that we play with.
Perfect, Sharon. So to wrap us up today, can you share some websites, ways to learn more about you and your organization?
Yes, of course. So my name is like here on the bottom, Sharon Argov, and my LinkedIn is Sharon Argov. The company is AI21labs.com. And I do welcome you to join our social accounts and social network, LinkedIn and Facebook. And we have a strong Discord channels for developers. And I'm happy to meet and to talk to any marketeer. I think sharing knowledge and looking into the things that AI can offer for marketing is really my passion. So happy to speak to whomever.
Perfect. Thank you for your time today, Sharon.
Thank you, Andrew, and happy 2025.